rotations for the joints that'll get you a way to start your yoga practice in a comfortable way. So start out with a cross-legged seat, and if this isn't comfortable, then you can prop yourself up on a blanket underneath your bottom so that it's a little more comfortable to be cross-legged, and then drop your chin and begin to make some neck circles. You want to keep your neck long and think about reaching the skull out in all directions as you make circles. You want to go nice and slow and take your time. And you can do about 4 to 6 on one side and then about 4 to 6 on the other side. I like to keep my eyes closed, but you can keep your eyes open. And just remember that you can feel a stretch, you can hear some cracks and some crinkles, but you don't want to hear or feel any numbness or sharp shooting pains in the neck. When you finish your neck circles, you're going to make some nice, easy shoulder circles. Just lifting the shoulders as you draw them forward, rolling them back. You can let your hands relax, and your hands will make little circles on your legs. Take a nice deep breath as you're making the circles, inhaling as you lift up, and exhaling as you roll down. When you've done about 4 to 6 in one direction, you're going to reverse into the opposite direction. So lifting the shoulders as you move them back, rolling them up and forward. When you've finished about 4 to 6 of those, you can take your hands and place them on your knees. Round your back from your tailbone, lean way back, and hang off the knees. Drop your chin and just stretch the low back. Take a big breath. Come forward and begin a little bit of spinal flex practice. Exhaling, round the back and drop the chin. Inhale, arch the back and lift the chin toward the sky. Exhale, inhale. Exhale as you round. Inhale as you lift. Think about the abdominal muscles supporting the breath. You can do this 4 to 6 times in each direction, or you can do this for a minute or even longer. And when you exhale, round back, drop your chin, and one more time, stretch that low back out. Come back to center. Take a moment to admire your nice Allentown sweatshirt. That was from Aunt Daisy, and this is a very, very old sweatshirt. And now I'm going to make some hip circles, and I'm just going to move my upper torso around and around, holding onto my knees lightly, thinking about the outer edges of the bones that are on the floor and trying to make a circle around those edges. Nice, easy breaths. And just trying to get a little bit of movement, and warmth, and softness into the joints. When you come forward, you can go ahead and reverse direction. And again, you can do this 4 to 6 times on either side, or you can do this quite a bit more, as much as it feels comfortable for you. Try to keep track either by the amount of rotations or by the number of breaths that you're taking, so that you can work both sides equally. And when you come back forward, come to a center place, and then you can bring one heel in and put the other heel right in front of it. Now, if this is too much stretch, you can stay in a cross-legged position. If your legs are getting tired, you can switch them around. But either from a cross-legged position or heel in and other heel lining up, you're going to lean forward, start with fingertips on the floor, start with a lengthened spine, not a rounded spine, but a lengthened spine, and just walk the hands forward. If you're really flexible, when people have really flexible open hips, they may drop all the way down to the floor. But that's not necessary, and it's not important. What's important is that you lean forward with length in the spine until you feel a stretch on the outside of the hip. It should feel stretchy, but you should still be able to feel like you can take nice, slow, deep breaths. You can drop your head and relax. If you have more room, you can drop down to the elbows. For people who can drop their heads to the floor, that's fine. You can also stack your fists and bring your head down to rest on your fists. I'm doing this for you without any props, so I'm not going to bring out a yoga block. But if you did have a yoga block or something else that you could put your head on to rest, that would work as well. Then you're just going to switch sides. When you come forward on the second side, you're going to feel the outside of that opposite hip. And again, just coming to a place where you feel the stretch, dropping the head. And breathe. Think about the length of the spine. Let your head rest toward the earth. You can work with arms way outstretched if that feels good. Or you can have your hands right by your legs and keep your spine lifted if that feels better. When you've done both sides an equal number of breaths, come back up to sitting, and then we're going to lengthen the legs. And we're going to reach the sit bones back behind us. You want to keep your toes in a nice long line here. And then you're going to come into a forward bow, and I'm going to give you just right off the bat some modification. If the legs are long and straight, it can be hard to come forward without rounding the back. So what you can do is just walk your fingertips forward until you feel a stretch in the hamstrings. You might only go this far. People who are much more flexible will go much further, but it doesn't really matter how far anybody goes. As long as they go to a place where they feel the stretch, they can continue to take some slow, deep breaths. Keep working on drawing those toes back and keeping them all in a line. Notice what happens if you try to stretch too far and the toes start to go this way or that way. You just want to keep them nice and lined up and drawing back. And as you start to relax, you may find that you come more forward. You can drop your head and relax your head. But just remember that even if this is your forward bow, all the way, even all the way up here, and this is all it takes for you to feel those hamstrings engage, then that's the perfect place for you to be. Just taking, again, 4 to 6 breaths here. And then coming back up to sitting. You can recross your legs. And then just inhale and bring your arms up above you. Bring the hands together. Take one hand to the wrist and reach over to the side just for a little gentle stretch. And then opposite hand to opposite wrist. And same thing over here. And then come back. And that's it, Kimmy. That is just about 9 minutes. So if you've got 10 minutes in your morning, that's a great way to start your day. Those yoga rotations will open up the joints and start the blood flowing in the body. I like to slide out of bed first thing in the morning and do those on the floor right next to my bed. I'm on my mat right now, but you don't even need a mat. You can pretty much do this anywhere where there's a flat surface. All right, honey. Love you, cuz. Give it a shot and let me know how it goes.